There is so much hype when it comes to AI and AI agents, but what I'm going to show you today is by far the most useful AI tool for all businesses, regardless of business type. And like most useful things, it's not super sexy or super complex, but it is super useful. So what is it? Well, this agent is essentially a chief of staff or a business operations manager or a executive assistant. It knows everything about your business and it replaces ChatGPT or Claude so that every single interaction that you have with AI has full context of your business so that it can give dramatically improved results with every single interaction with AI. Now you might be saying, Matt, but we already have projects within OpenAI and Claude, and this is very true. But firstly, most people aren't using them. Secondly, if they are using them, most people aren't using them well. And thirdly, and most importantly, they can't read real-time data about your business. With this solution that I'm going to show you, the AI agent knows so much about your business. It knows what your business is, what you sell, who you sell it to, all of your ranges of products and services and their pricing. It knows who your competitors are. It knows who your team is and each of their responsibilities. It knows what your goals are and what your constraints are, what your budgets are, what your key project areas are. It knows what your sales at the moment are. It knows what the projects that you're working on. And simply knowing all of this information when you're speaking to AI means that every single result that you get back from AI is so much more useful because it's actually specific to you and your business. It's the same difference as speaking about your business to a random person off the street or someone that's been working within your business for 5 years. So let's have a look at it in action. So for this example, I've created a test business called Earthroom, which is a men's skincare and healthcare business. And I'm going to ask our agent, considering our goals, what do you think is the single most important project that we're working on at the moment? If I send that off, the response that I'm going to get, you can see, is going to be a huge difference to what just OpenAI would give you if you asked the same question. So it says, the single most important project is the subscription box development. This project is crucial because it supports your revenue goal of reaching 100K a month, and it directly enhances customer retention. Focusing upon this goal will have a significant impact on your overall business, as well as aligning with your long-term goals. And I can say, great, what's the current progress of this? It comes back with real-time information about what is going on with this project within my business. Now here you can see this is just leaps ahead of what you can use ChatGPT and Claude for. So let's run another test and see what else we can do. So I'm going to say to it, I'm thinking of producing another product in our range. What do you think would fit in well? And it's come back and says an SPF moisturizer. And I'm going to say, actually, we're already developing one. What should be next? And let's see what it says after that. And it says after that, an exfoliating facial scrub will be a good product to add. This is why it makes sense. I say, great, how would we fit this into our current marketing? And I've given it all the information about what we're doing currently for marketing, which I'll show you in just a second. You can see we're going to get back some actually useful information when it comes to what we can do within our business to improve things. So you can see here it's come back with some decent ideas of the expansion of the subscription box, content marketing, putting it in our social media, putting it in our monthly newsletter, and etc. You can also ask it about real-time data. We can ask it, what has been the best selling item recently? It's going to go and it's going to look at our sales and it's going to come back with what has recently been the best selling. Again, something that ChatGPT or Claude just couldn't do because it can't access your real-time information like that at the moment. So it says at the moment, this is the best selling one, the daily cleanser, with this many sold on the 18th of June. And then I could say, great, what are the inventory levels of this product? And again, I'm going into more detail about the business and actually getting back useful information about my business. And you can see this would apply to any business, not just a men's face care business or whatever this is, but to anything, any business that has information that you want to interact with. This is almost like speaking to someone who knows everything about your business and can reply instantly, can analyze all of the data. And you can see this is going to be super useful for so many businesses. So let's have a look at how this is working. I'm using a tool called n8n. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you know that I use n8n a lot. It's fantastic for building automations and AI agents relatively simply. And essentially what I'm doing here is I have got a number of files which I got AI to create. And this is the main one here. This is the business overview document. And within this document, which is hosted on Google Drive, I have told, I've just put in the document for now, everything about my business. So the name, the industry, a little bit about it, the products and services, additional services, the prices, the pain points and pain relievers, the customer buyer personas, frequently asked questions, business goals, who's in the team and what they do, our sales process, our company principles, case studies and reviews, operations. And this is just a touch upon when implementing this in real life, how much detail I would go into. The better our AI agent is going to be at giving us useful information. I then have two more documents. I have this document here, which is to do with the inventory of all of our products. And I also have another one here, which is to do with the sales of all of our products. Now, what I'm doing within N8N is I am downloading the overview, which is this Google Doc here, and I'm passing this in as context to this AI agent over here, which is basically the same as what we're doing with projects within OpenAI, within ChatGPT, or within Claude. However, the really useful bit, and the bit you can only do with an AI agent at the moment, is connecting to real-time data. So here you can see I am connecting to Google Sheets to read my sales, and this one here is to read my inventory. And I'm also connecting to Notion, where I've got a list of the current projects which are going on within the business, and that is also connecting there. So you can see that within this demo here, I can connect to my sales, my inventory, the projects that I'm going on. But obviously, when applying this to a business, you can connect to as many things that you want here. And these here at the moment are just reading data, but obviously you can connect this to make it do things as well, such as add a new task within your project management system, or send an email to one of your team to say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, can we plan a meeting? Or connect it to your calendar so that you actually book in a meeting with those people when you have an idea after speaking to your agent about whatever it is you're talking about. So what we're doing here is retrieving a chat from Telegram, and then we are downloading every time our business overview document from Google Drive. We're then converting that file into text, and then within the AI agent, we are taking that information, which is coming from the previous step, and saying, here is some information about the business, along with a few other little bits saying you are a helpful assistant, and also saying you have access to tools. So we're passing in within the system message all of the information it needs to know about our business. However, we don't want to pass in these bits of information here because that's going to be too much in terms of context. We want to get these only when we need it to prevent us using too many tokens and therefore spending too much money. We are connecting at the moment with 4.0 Mini. However, you can connect with any model that you want, and that's going to change obviously the results that you get, as each different model kind of has a different feel to it and a different intelligence in a sort of way. If you want to help developing this yourself, then I will leave a link down below in the description where you can download everything you need in order to implement this for yourself, for your business, or for a client's business in just a couple of clicks. Now, a question you might be asking is, Matt, why aren't we using RAG for this? And that's a good question. The reason that we're not using RAG is that RAG is very good for searching. But when we have a wide context and we're not searching for anything, we just want it to know about things, RAG is not very good. Because if I was to go over to Telegram and ask it, tell me about my business, this would be able to tell me about my business because I've put all of the information within the context here. However, if I wanted to query a vector database using RAG about, tell me about my business, it wouldn't know what to do because it doesn't have anything to search for. It's too broad and therefore it wouldn't return a good result. Plus, when you're using RAG, you're only usually getting about 3 or 4 responses back from your vector database, which you use when you're combining a final output. And if you've got so much information, then you're going to lose a lot of context because all of that information can't fit within those 3 or 4 responses. So when we're not searching for something specific, then it doesn't make sense to use RAG. And for here, we don't want to use RAG because RAG isn't good for searching for specific items. So the reason we're not using RAG is simply it's not meant for this sort of use case. So let's have a look at another example. So I'm going to say, considering my goals, what do you think should be my next hire? We're going to send that off. And we're going to see who it thinks we should hire next within the business in order to reach our goals. So it says, customer retention specialist. Interesting. I'm going to say, okay, can you write me a job post for that role taking into account everything about the business. And there we go. And you can see here that this is where it's going to save so much time in actually doing something useful compared to just ChatGPT or Claude, which won't really know about your business as well as this does. So there we go. We can see it's given us a huge output of what we can include as a job post, doing something which previously would have taken a long time to do, to produce this. But since we've already given it all of our information about the business, it already knows exactly how to do it in the best way. And like I said at the beginning, this is not the most exciting, the sexiest AI thing you could do out there at the moment, but it is the most powerful thing that I see with working with the people that I work with. The thing that when you put in place actually makes the most impact at the moment for the widest span of businesses, because this is applicable to every single business which is out there, and it makes ChatGPT or Claude, which most people are using, just that much more powerful within people's businesses, because it has access to context about their business and real-time information about their sales or their inventory or about their team or about their projects or whatever it may be. If you're interested about learning more and learning how you can implement AI within your business or your client's business, then come into the Applied AI Club with the link down below, and I'll be very happy to see you in there and to help you out with anything AI related. That is all from this video. I hope you've enjoyed, hope you found it useful. Again, links down below if you want to use this yourself or if you want to join the community, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.